Welcome to episode 2 of She Inspires, a series dedicated to highlighting the resilience and leadership of remarkable women in our communities. I'm Sherwood McCaskey, thanks for joining us. Today we shall learn of the journeys of two trailblazers, Jada Chase, the pioneering owner of a construction company, and Station Officer Angela Rivera, a distinguished fire officer. Their stories not only showcase personal triumph, but also serve as inspiration, encouraging others to pursue their passions and contribute to our society. We begin with Jada Chase, who shares the spark that ignited her venture into the construction industry. Well, having been inspired by a television home improvement show, Jada transformed her vision into reality, breaking barriers into a traditionally male-dominated field. Her narrative exemplifies the power of the media and how it can inspire individuals to pursue unconventional paths, fostering innovation and diversity within our communities.
While I was in primary school, I watched HGTV, and I enjoy watching the people find the houses and decorate the homes and do the renovations. And there was actually a show where this guy, he used to assist persons that had issues with their homes or had children with disabilities that need better access to the home. So he would gift them with a renovation. That always intrigued me. And then my mom, she had a freighting company. She had 2 flatbed trucks. My uncle, as long as I knew him, he was working for himself. He was always self-employed. He never had answers on nobody. His thing was his thing. And then my mom, she renovated the house, and I had other uncles that renovated their homes as well. So it was always, the love for me on the job, because everybody played a part in helping to raise me. At the time, my dad had lived overseas, so everybody was just doing their part while he could not. After primary school, I had passed through large school, and I told my mom I was good at art. I had a cousin, he has passed away, but he taught me how to draw. And I fell in love with drawing and painting. So when I went to the law school, I told my mom, when we had to choose subjects, I was like, I want to be an artist so I could do art. And she was like, she doesn't think artists really make money. And I was like, okay, I want to be an interior designer because I watched so much HGTV. And she was like, no, she don't think interior designers, they make much money in Barbados either. So I was like, okay, fine. She was like, how about architects? She know architects and they make a lot of money. She know a female architect and she's making money. I was like, okay, fine. I did woodwork, metalwork, technical drawing at the law school. And after third round, I was the only girl in my class in 4th and 5th, because the girls were not interested in doing technical subjects. They were more interested in doing food and nutrition. And when I left the law school, I then went on to community college. I was supposed to do architecture. It was not available, so I did land surveying. Then I realized that I was not good at science at all. So I kind of gave up. At the time, my uncle had gotten me a little Christmas job, and that became a permanent job because I had dropped out of BCC. The persons that I was working for at the time, they were like, no, Jada, you should not be here. You should not be spending the rest of your life here. You need to go back to school. So find something else that you can do. So I did office administration and management, and I found that it was something that I was good at. So I got my associate's degree in that, and I got a job at Marshall Trading, and I got to interact with all the customers, the contractors, hear the problems, the concerns, learned all the building materials, and that is where I decided that I wanted to own a freighting company. At the time, I realized, okay, I can't do it off of this salary, so I need to make more money, so I actually went to UE. I told my parents I wasn't going, but I ended up going. I studied human resource management because, like I said, I realized I'm good at management. As I said, I was hearing about the concerns. I heard the freighters expressing that, what we make in a day, dump truck guys make in a week. And it was like, a dump truck. My mom had flatbeds, so I was thinking about investing in one as well. And I was like, maybe I need to get a dump truck. At this time, I was living by my uncle because he had lived the closest to UE. He lives in Wanstead. And I went to him and said, Uncle, I want to get a dump truck. He was like, oh God. So his thing was this girl. He was like, all right, but I don't think it's a good idea. I think you should finish your degree and see what job you could get, maybe do your master's or whatever. But my heart was just stuck on having dump trucks. And where Marshall Trading was situated in Welch's, it was right by the roundabout, and it was the cashier, and my seat was right by the door. So when I had no customers to deal with, I would look through the door and just see all the dump trucks every day. And it was like, no, I need one of these. So I went to my mom, and I said, Mom, I want a dump truck. Both farmers that were at St. Sam Motors, and I knew that if it's one body that could assist me, it's both of them, because they both work in the industrial department. And I said, all right, I'm going to go on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm going to look for secondhand trucks. All this time, my uncle was still trying to tell me, no, Jada, you know, you're a pretty girl, you're young, and he just figured that it's a male-dominated industry, and I'm going to be bullied in this industry. And it was like, okay, I share my fair share of tears, because Uncle ain't supporting this, and it's something I really want. But my mom and my stepdad, they were supporting me on the other hand, because I guess they could have seen, all right, you know, she want to go there, she want to do better for herself, so they were trying to help me. Eventually, I resigned from Marshall Trading, and I bought a jackhammer compressor. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone has seen my trucks on the road, you will see a lady carrying a jackhammer. So I was the jackhammer girl, so that's me. So that's how we got the logo. And then I bought my first truck, which was a 1998 Isuzu Elf. And everything took off from there. I usually tell persons that I grew up in a family that was very loving. And if I had an issue, they were always willing to get up and see how best they could assist. So my uncle, as I said, he was self-employed. And when he heard that, you know, I was resigning after being so reluctant at first, when I first told him that I wanted to buy the dump truck, he was like, all right, no problem, because he had seen, and my dad as well, because my dad, he does not live here, but he always had his brother to be the father figure that I needed. So my dad as well, he would be over the phone, and uncle would be in person. And when they told everybody that I was resigning, they said, okay, no problem. So I will come back to them just for reassurance to make sure, you know, I'm doing the right thing, making the right decisions, and what's not. And my uncle, I was telling him about NHC. NHC has the dwelling house program. And I was telling my uncle, you know, maybe we're trying to see if we can get a contract. And, you know, my mentor, he has a team that he said he's willing to let work under me and what's not. So we're trying to see if we can get a house from NHC, and he was like, okay, I'm going to take you places, you know, to open a charge account and see where you could get the best deal on building materials, etc. So yeah, I always have my family, you know, they were always, up to this day, my backbone, because the company is only 3 years old, and it has been a roller coaster, it has been tough. I would say that I am thin-skinned. That's the term that my family likes to use. I am fast to cry and get flustered. It's not as bad as before though, I must say. But yeah, I always have them to lean on and to pick me back up and push me and tell me, you know, all right, cry, you finished cry, get back out there.
Family support is often essential for entrepreneurs, as it provides the encouragement and confidence needed to overcome challenges. In Jada's case, her family's belief in her vision was important for her success. Well, eventually she secured her first contract, making it a high point in her career. This initial opportunity not only validated her skills, but also set the foundation for her company's growth in the competitive construction industry.
I don't know if you all know about Bonfire. It's a government platform where they post all the tenders and what's not. The first tender that I actually won was a New Sunday burial ground. I'm the person that, I won't say started the project, because they just wanted to clear the land so that they could survey. But I had a hand in that, and that is a big project that's going on now. So that was my first contract that I won. So yeah, it probably wasn't big for other companies, but it was big for me. It was big for She-Hall. I was so excited and so happy because I know that there were other men that tendered on this job, and it was awarded to a female company, and it was executed by a female. So that just made me feel good. I was really excited about that, because I showed them that, yeah, I can do this.
What about her aspirations for the company's future? Jada envisions expanding She-Hall's reach, embracing construction technologies, and fostering sustainable building practices. Her commitment to excellence and adaptability positions her business to thrive in the evolving construction industry.
I did not realize how many persons would have known about She-Hall till everybody started to call me to ask me my story. I would like to see She-Hall grow as big as Cut Williams. I want to become the construction company to be dominating Barbados. And I love Cut Williams' slogan. I had always loved it, move the earth to peace. That's what I want She-Hall to be doing as well. So that's where I see She-Hall. I do this for my generation. You know, we are next. And I want to give persons opportunities that no one else will give them. Persons that would have went to school with me, they are now reaching out to me, letting me know that they would be purchasing land and reaching out to She-Hall Construction to have their homes built. So that is a real blessing for me. Like I said, I'm doing this for my generation. So I just tell everybody, at the older contractors, it was your time. It's my time now.
Despite her confidence, Jada Chase acknowledges the challenges inherent in leading a construction company as a female, facing gender biases, securing funding, and balancing personal commitments are among the hurdles she encounters daily. However, she employs strategies to overcome these obstacles. Her resilience and determination not only drive her company's success, but also inspire other females to pursue leadership roles in traditionally male-dominated industries.
I remember I had mentioned I thought he was a friend. I had mentioned to him because he had a dump truck. And I obviously sit up at Dudley Road, so I was just questioning him, getting my own, feedback from somebody that I figured was close to me that would be willing to, And I had said to him, well, I was asking him, like, how much money in diesel he puts in his truck a week or a day, and asking him questions about the truck. And I told him I may be seeking to obtain my own truck. And he mentioned to me that I don't really like newcomers coming into the market because, when they're going to take food out my pocket, when they're going to take food out my mouth, and I have a lifestyle to maintain. And maybe I was asking the wrong person for the information that I wanted based on his response, but that made me cry. It was heartbreaking. Persons would have seen how fast my company had grown in the past 3 years. Up to this day, I'm being faced with, this is not her company. She is being funded by someone whose minister is pushing this girl. She is not doing it by herself. She can't do this by herself. She's just the pretty face of the company. She has no title to this company. Nothing is hers. It doesn't bother me as much now as it did before, but it used to bother me a lot then. I felt as though, all right, even my company is 20 years, I'm going to be always faced with, this is not her company. As much of this stress as this is She-Hall, and she is me, I think it will always be faced with, this is not her company.
Jada advocates for greater female representation in the construction industry. She believes that women's involvement brings diverse perspectives, enhances problem solving, and fosters a more inclusive environment. By sharing her journey, she hopes to inspire other females to pursue careers in the construction industry, challenging traditional gender roles and contributing to a more equitable industry.
I would like to see, more women in the industry from a leading standpoint. I know that we have women out there that are actually studying engineer, and my advice to them would be to stand up for what you want. If you get no one place, don't give up. Go for the yes elsewhere. My company is a new company, yes, and obviously persons are very hesitant. You want to get into construction, you have any savings, they want to know, just to protect themselves from financing you as a company. And you're going to hear no. But I found after being so persistent and really reaching out to them and asking them to help me and helping them to see my vision and see how determined that I am, it worked out in my favor. After being so persistent and asking them what can I do for them to help me, they eventually supported my cause.
In the second segment of this week's edition of She Inspires, we turn our attention to Station Officer Angela Rivera, whose journey into firefighting began after witnessing a fire in our capital city. This event ignited a passion within her to serve and protect our community.
Well, I remember coming from an exam and seeing the fire trucks operating for the then Trimart, I think it was Julian at the time, when they had that fire on the Bridge Road. And it was kind of awesome to watch the guys operate, but my inspiration actually came from a friend who was also a fire officer at the time, and he said, why don't you join the fire service? And it really didn't occur to me. Everybody was after the police force and who didn't want to be a lawyer and a doctor, and it was just, at that time, really about finding employment. And at that time, it was pretty simple. All you had to do was write a letter. So I did a handwritten application. I was 23 years old at the time, but I actually did not get into the fire service until I was just nearing 26 years old. There wasn't a fire academy at that time, but there was a collection of officers who got together and they admitted the training to all the new entrants. It was a combination of both difficult and easy for me. I always taught myself the tomboy. I had 4 brothers and 1 sister. So at that time we used to call it running boat. So we would run boat a lot. And I thought that it was apt, it was very physical, but it was always, it was doable because you had help and we operate as a team. And then they married that with the theory. So there were exams pretty often, for sure. Every month you had exams. I think it felt more like every week. It was sometimes competitive among the guys. I always did well in theory. I didn't do bad in practical, but I always tried to be in that first team, meaning the first team sometimes got to do it more than once. And if you were in the first team, this is my little secret, if you're in the first team, then you're corrected, and then all the other teams after that, they have to make sure they do it as good as they possibly can. So when you come back around to do it again, then it means that you're that much better. The good thing about joining the fire service at the time that I did, they had already had 2 sets of females that had joined, because we had women in the fire service from 1979. And then you had another batch that joined around the mid-80s. So it wasn't a shock, it wasn't the first time for females, but for every new batch that enters, then you know you have that settling down to do. Throughout my career, although there were moments when you felt really good, you know, that feel good, you go home, you're satisfied with what you did the day, or you're satisfied with what, you know, how the night went, but it is more prevalent now in terms of the work I do, my tasks, the constant going. Honestly, some days I can get up and I can smile and I can come to work and be glad. I'm not going to say it's always a bed of roses, but there are some days when everything just feels really light. Obviously, you'll have the opposite. There'll be days when it's heavy. But this is the first time throughout my whole career that I've been showcased so much, and I've been able to say and impart some of my experiences.
Now let us discuss the mental aspects of her role. She will share the responsibilities she shoulders in her management position and the strategies she employs to maintain her well-being amidst the challenges of her profession.
Let me deal with the mental part of it first. It can get very stressful at times, especially in the position I'm in now. I really didn't know how happy I was as a fire officer. At the end of the day, you go home and you rest, you sleep, and you know the phones are not ringing, and it's a vast difference when you get to the level of management where you're responsible for so much more, and you can't get those calls in the middle of the night to come to an incident. And the faster you can clear your mind of one incident, it means that you can go on to the next. So in between, I try to do the things that I like. I go to church, I go to walks with my family, my sister, my brother when he's able to. I will confess I play Spider Solitaire. If I can bake, I will. And I also like sewing and maybe getting in a little craft when I can.
Well, perhaps you have to be part of the profession to truly understand the mental fortitude that is required for the role.
Well, we had different types of rescues, yes, but there was one, this particular one, and it always stuck with me. It really was a road traffic accident, and we actually didn't have to do anything. The guy was reclined in the seat, he was talking, so we thought that everything, or I thought that everything was okay. There was no physical signs of damage, no bleeding, no injuries that we could say or he could say he had. And it was really saddening to hear that he had passed the very next day. So I always remember that, because we didn't have to do anything. We didn't have to do any cutting or anything, and he still did not survive.
As expected, Angela speaks of the invaluable contribution of the female officers stationed at the Bridgetown Port Fire Station. She will shed light on their roles and the responsibility within the team.
So here at the port station, we have a female who drives the truck. She shares that with another driver, but she gets the chance to drive the truck here at the port station. All the women needed, and especially the female drivers, all they needed was the encouragement. There are not a lot of them, but we get a lot of kudos. We get persons on the street saying, oh, we want to see the female driver. Ooh, who was driving that truck? It's nice, it's encouraging for them. I like it, not just because I'm a female, but I like it. It is out of the norm for a lot of persons. And I think that they're doing well. I think they just need the encouragement, not just the encouragement from other females, but also the encouragement from the males. The fire service will continue to evolve, but I think that we add that flair. And I already see a female who is aspiring, and I believe that she can be the first female chief. So I will keep my ear to the ground, I will keep my eyes open. Even if I am not in the fire service anymore, I am praying and I'm pushing that we can have the first Barbados Fire Service female chief.
And so as we conclude this episode of She Inspires, Angela shares her insights and encouragement for women who are considering a career in the fire service. Drawing from her own experiences, she offers guidance on navigating this challenging yet rewarding field. Her words serve as a beacon for those aspiring to break barriers and serve their communities with dedication and resilience.
You want to be a fire officer? First, for anybody, stay in school. Once you have completed your academic qualification and you can get into the fire service, you just, as people will say, hit the ground running. There are opportunities for you in the fire service. You have internal courses, you have courses that you can do on your own, but it's very important to listen to your instructors, listen to your mentors, listen to the officers, and always stay on the right side of what you're supposed to do, because you carry persons' lives in your hands, not just your own and the persons that you work with on the station, but when you go there, you have to make sure that you are the person who they are looking at to make sure that they get the help that they need.
And so she inspires, a reflection of the journey of today's guests through their stories that exemplify resilience, passion, and the transformative power of pursuing one's dream. In a society where collective progress hinges on individual courage and determination, these stories remind us of the importance of pursuing our dreams. Their experiences encourage us to challenge norms and inspire others, contributing to a culture of empowerment and growth. I'm Sherwood McCaskey. Thank you for staying with us, and please stay tuned for our next episode of She Inspires. Goodbye.